All right, so we are with Rookie Games athlete Ellie Turner. Ellie, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So your first time here at the Games, what kind of an experience was it for you?
It was definitely up and down all weekend, but all in all it was such a good experience, especially to take forward in my career.
So you're 23, you're still young. What did you learn from this weekend that you're going to take forward?
I think just your general competition knowledge of like how they run things and how to move through different events. Probably as well just like how to handle yourself when things don't go to plan, or even when they go to plan and you do well. So yeah, lots of different takeaways.
So with this crowd around, how hard is it to stay in your own lane and within your own game plan?
I think when you're out there, I sort of go into tunnel vision and you don't really notice the crowd as much. But it's pretty special when you cross that finish line and there's a crowd uproar, and it's yeah, definitely a cool experience to take away.
So you're with Michelle and Deca Comp.
Yeah.
How long have you been with them?
It's been just over a year now. I started with Michelle in the middle of lockdown, so it was like last year in like June-ish. And that's been really good for me, having an individual sort of programming perspective, and then just the knowledge of Michelle is amazing. So yeah, it's been good.
So how often do you get to work out with them in person?
This was my first time meeting her in person, so it was pretty special. I train in Adelaide of South Australia, so I'm usually training by myself, which can be pretty tricky. But yeah, it was amazing to meet Michelle and yeah, get some training before the Games.
Well, speaking of Australia, they're back on lockdown.
Yeah.
So what were the difficulties getting into the United States?
Yeah. So Australia's pretty strict. Had to go through some pretty tight guidelines of getting out of Australia. That was probably the trickiest bit. So applying for exemptions with the Australian government and making sure they wanted to make sure that we can come back in. So yeah, just some exemptions. Flights were probably twice, if not 3 times as expensive to get over here because of COVID. So there was a few little hurdles to jump over before getting here.
And how long have you been in the States?
I got here the 9th of July, so it was about 3 weeks before the Games. It's winter back home as well, so I wanted to like acclimatise, the time zone changes and things like that. So I've been over here for like 4 weeks now. Okay.
So now that you have to go back, what hurdles do you have to face getting back into Australia?
So I was meant to fly back on Wednesday, but I was informed that my flight was cancelled. And then when I called the airline, they couldn't get me on another flight until the 2nd of October. So we're sort of trying to work out now how to get back into Australia. It's because we have to go into hotel quarantine when we get there. It's all about how many beds are available and how many people they're letting back into the country. And with the Olympics on at the moment as well, they sort of get priority to come back in. So we're bumped back on the wait list. So yeah, it's a bit tricky to get back in.
So how long does it looking like you're gonna have to stay?
It could be weeks, it could be months. I really don't know. I'm sort of just not trying to stress about it until I really have to. Especially I found out Friday night, which was in the middle of my competition, so it was a little bit like tried to push it to the back of my mind and just focus on competing, and then yeah, deal with it afterwards.
Did you take out some of the aggression on the assault bike?
I did take out aggression on the assault bike, but it wasn't from the flight, it was from something else, but yeah.
Yeah, you did really well in that
Thank
workout.
you. Yeah. I don't mind a bit of grunt work.
So do you have a plan B of where you're going to stay, who you're going to stay with?
I've got a few different options. Obviously Michelle's in Canada, and then I know a few people over here, so yeah, hopefully I can sort something out.
So now that you've had a taste of the Games, are you ready to come back next year?
Oh, for sure. Like, this is what I want to do, so I'm ready to come back better than ever next year.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ellie.
That's right, thanks for having me.